Welcome to Fourth and Long. It's a very spooky edition of Fourth and Long. I'm Nathan. We are a little shorthanded tonight, but that's okay. We're going to have a hell of a time anyway, and frankly, those other two guys, they're no fun at parties, so we're good. Biggest party on, I almost said the biggest party on Twitch, not here. Biggest party on Facebook, the most rowdy and uncensored NFL show on planet Earth. He's Jordan. That's Chris Land. Braden Schaefer says, hey, Silver, shh, it's my secret identity. Daniel Ship is in the comments giving us the bird. Well, you know, Ship, if you weren't traveling for work, whatever. It's fine. Ship's going 0-16 this week, by the way.
Hell yeah. It's what we need to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. He'd still probably be in first place by 6 games. So guys, welcome to a special Halloween edition of Fourth and Long. Jordan, El Viking Lucha is here all night. How are you?
El Viking Lucha. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. I know we don't do like initial thoughts, but I just have to say, if you haven't seen the clip of Hangman Adam Page being revealed as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, it was the biggest pop I've ever had as a wrestling fan. Was whenever he took that mask off. Classic 90s wrestling shit right there.
Oh yeah,
it was great, man.
Yeah,
it was fucking great. But I'm hanging in now.
Yeah, Chris Lane, how are you, sir?
I mean, how do you follow that up? I mean, I'm doing great. I mean, you know, it's good to be me.
You look like you might be stoned out of your gourd. I think that's by design.
No.
There's a reason he's got polarized glasses on, hiding his eyeballs.
It's so he can see the fishes in the water better, of course.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's
true American. Got my red, white, and blue going on.
Listen, I wanted to play the Hulk Hogan's entrance
but you won't.
I won't because I'm not trying to. Zuckerberg is all about this new company he's starting. He will definitely shut us down. The one time we played,
listen, your ass if you don't do one bar.
Listen, we played one verse and one chorus of one real song one time this year, and the video got taken down. Just one.
We also showed one bust last season, and that whole episode is unavailable. One bust all season, whole episode.
I'm just telling you. I'm just
you
telling you.
Talking about yours?
No, I don't think I whipped my actual tit out.
Technically, two breastises, right?
Yeah, it was a set.
Well, all right. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from this before Quinn Beard gets all excited in the chat and starts acting up like he thinks we're in Twitch or something. He says, "Can't wait for you to pick the Jets this week. It'll never happen. There's a better likelihood of me whipping it out and waving it around on camera than me picking the Jets. I'm just saying."
Oh boy.
So listen,
don't give it too much credit on that wave.
But the reason, listen, my camera doesn't zoom that much. So here's the deal. We had a great week last week. We still have not been able to figure out how to catch Lieutenant Ship.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, so let's run through last week really quick, and then we've got a special segment from your friend, Mr. Paul Huber. Of course, you heard it from Hubie. He's reviewing a bourbon this week. It's very exciting. You don't want to miss it. All right, so listen, first place Ship 70-30. He is picking at a 70% rate, guys. This is, I don't even know. Jordan's in second, 63-37. Went 10-2 last week. Same record as Ship. So not only is Ship in the lead, he's having the best. He's winning every week. That's the problem.
He is in zero danger of having to eat the beef jerky, unlike myself.
I think at this point he's in zero danger. What's up, D-Rock? He says, "What's up, MFers?" All right, so I'm in third place. I'm a game behind Jordan. Josh is in fourth, 1 game behind me, and then 2 games behind him is Chris Land. So we're all kind of bunched up. There's only 4 games that separate last and second place. For those of you just watching for the first time, if you finish last in the standings between the 3 of us on screen and our 2 regulars who aren't here tonight, if you finish last, you must eat on camera, live for the millions. You didn't do it, Jordan. Let me try it again. Live for the millions.
And millions.
There you go.
I forgot we're doing
a package of Devil's Breath beef jerky. This is brought to us by our friends over at the Outlaw Jerky Company, who are our presenting sponsors. This beef jerky is 2 times hotter than a 1-chip challenge. This shit is hot. I have eaten this before on my Twitch stream, and I thought I was dying. It's that hot. But yeah, so as it stands right now, if the regular season ended today, Chris Land would have to eat the beef jerky. Now, there's going to be something for the winner as well. We're going to wait until we have a week where all 5 of us are here to be talking about that, but keep in mind that there's going to be something. So we really appreciate the Outlaw Jerky Company for being...
Basically, Mr. Ship is going to get to vote for his own award. That's awesome.
No, there's no vote. It's just I'm going to wait to talk about it until everybody's here. I love how these headphones underneath this hood make me look like Princess Leia. Like, I'm in for it. I'm in for it. So yeah, we want to say thanks again to the Outlaw Jerky Company for sponsoring the show, being our presenting sponsor. They are phenomenal. It's a small jerky company, handmade, homemade, right out of Texas. Mr. Bo Freeman is a magician. He is a magician. It's the best beef jerky. It's so good I can't even talk about it. It's the best jerky you're ever gonna have. Their garlic lime is amazing. They've got 24 different flavors plus some seasonal flavors. They have some really, really interesting ones. They have a blazing jalapeno cherry. They have like I said, the garlic lime is my favorite. They've got a lemon pepper. They've got a steakhouse, which has a hint of A1, which obviously you never need at a real steakhouse, but it's great beef jerky nonetheless. So the Outlaw Jerky Company, you can find them on Facebook or at their website. The Outlaw Jerky Co. is how you find them on Facebook. You can order directly from there. It's very affordable. A good size bag, $10 plus shipping. It's about what you pay for way worse beef jerky at your local gas station. You know, for the price of a couple Slim Jims, you can have a way better package of jerky. So the Outlaw Jerky Company, again, out of Texas. Thank you again for being our sponsor. I also want to give a shout out to 41 Sports Studio, another one of our sponsors, for helping us put the show together and for all the support that you provide. With that being said, let's talk about some of the games last week, guys. Okay, so here's the deal. You know, we always talk about how many games did we all pick unanimously, because those don't end up swinging the standings, right or wrong, right? We picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of 12 games last week were completely unanimous. So there were really only 4 games that mattered as far as the standings are concerned. Okay? And so let's talk about those 4 games, right? The 4 games that mattered were Cincinnati, Baltimore, Tennessee, Kansas City, Philly and Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Indianapolis. Okay?
Can we save that Cincy game for the last one? Because I think that one's going to be the most hotly talked about. But I want to kick it off by saying, Nathan, you had a golden opportunity to just free game everybody by going with your homo out. But then you picked the Eagles to beat Vegas. And I don't know why everyone keeps what don't you see in Vegas? They have a very good offense and a solid defense, and I don't understand why people they looked bad against Chicago in the middle of all that Gruden shit. They've gotten out of it. It's in the past. They're moving on, and like every team that fires a head coach midway through the season or loses a head coach, they're playing better with the replacement because they want to make that guy look good. Why are we still Nathan, you specifically, because you picked the Eagles. Why were you so down on Vegas? What don't you see that you like about them?
You know what? I'm gonna pass because we have a guest joining us.
Well, I will speak on it since my favorite team is.
Hey, I guess I got to turn on my video.
Yeah, you got to turn on your video, Hubie.
Turning video. There we go, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, live in almost 4K from the Rock and Roll Woodshop corporate office. Maybe eventually soon. Not yet. Here he comes. I don't know.
I got to turn down my mic.
Yeah. And the stream in the background. All right, Jordan. While Hubie gets his equipment correct, I will answer your question. I don't.
There you go.
It's not that I don't think that Vegas is good. There he is. It's not that I don't think that Vegas is good. It's that I just haven't seen anything from them to impress me. And I'm not going to sit here and say that taking Philly over Vegas was the obvious pick. It wasn't. Obviously, I was wrong. I was the only one that picked him. But I've just seen some weaknesses in Vegas that make me think, you know, we've got to do something about Hubie's mic here. Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good. You changed nothing.
I'm good. I just had to close the other tab where the stream was live.
Yeah, no, you're good. I made an adjustment on my end to where I don't hear the background noise, so you're good. You changed nothing. All right, so I am just concerned about the longevity of the Raiders' success. They have won some good games this year, and I'll probably get burnt by not picking them again at some point. But to Chris Land's point, if they're going to keep winning and I'm going to keep picking against them, Meaning Chris picking against them, but he picked them last week and they won. So my thought was Chris is going to pick them. They're going to lose. It is what it is. It's no more
Yeah, and
off
you
the
would
wall
have
than that.
loved to have that narrative to say that, and I get it. Look, it's kind of as a Raiders fan, it is. I do see a lot of good things. They play really fast on defense, and I think their defense is opportunistic, not really that great. But it seems like that on offense, they just make the play that's good enough to keep it alive, and then finally they'll hit a little bingo and get a quick strike for 25 or 30 yards or something. It seems to be what I'm seeing, and I'm super excited about it. Again, it's kind of I just don't see a lead, but I might just see, maybe a team playing with a lot of heart. And maybe that's what's happening a little bit. So hey, I'm definitely all for it. They don't play this week, so I don't have to worry about picking for or against my team. So that's always a nice feeling.
That is true.
One
So
of the things,
sorry, go ahead, Hubie.
hey, listen, one of the things that I feel I'm kind of with Mr. Hawthorne and the fact that this team really it hasn't been tested yet. I mean, yeah, they had the nice big win against Ravens at the beginning of the season, and they come out here, they break in the new stadium, but this team needs a couple of signature wins. They're a nice story right now, and they're playing pretty good football. Derek Carr's got to have a couple of signature wins.
My thing is, though, it's like, I understand if we're talking about, like, hey, if they play, like, Cincinnati, or if they play, who's the number 1 seed, by the way. But, like, if they play, like, one of the top tier, like, if they play Tampa Bay, okay, yeah, we're all going to pick Tampa Bay. Or, we're probably all going to pick Cincy. Like, we're all going to pick against them against a really good team. They were playing Philadelphia. Philadelphia, as much as I want to talk about Jalen Hurts for 2 hours again, we're not going to. They're not very good, guys. Philadelphia is not very good at football. Their defense isn't great. They can't really get much of a pass rush. Their play calling's horrendous. Like, they're not that good of a football team. I just don't understand. Like, man, I don't know. I was scratching my head last week when you made the pick.
Look, I'll just say this.
So in 2 weeks they play the Chiefs, and then in 3 weeks they play the Bengals, and then they play the Cowboys. In the next 4 weeks, we're gonna find out if they can play with the big boys. Because
you talking Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah, they
That's
can.
the upset. We get Giants coming off the bye. It is in New York, but then they play at the Chiefs, or they play Chiefs at home, Bengals at home, and then at Dallas. So those 3 games are probably going to give you a good barometer. Or
hey, look, if Vegas can go 2-1 in those 3 games, they're doing all right. So that being said, the other 2 games besides the Cincinnati-Baltimore game, which we'll touch on here for just a second, we split kind of on San Francisco and Indy. Chris and I took San Francisco. Everybody else took Indy. Obviously, Indy won that game. And then Jordan, Ship, and I took Tennessee successfully over Kansas City. So those are the splits. Now, the other game that we split on, I took the Bengals. Everyone else was wrong. Okay? Very important that you guys understand you were wrong. You were incorrect. You were wrong.
Doesn't happen often.
But you ruined it. You ruined that pick with that Philly pick. You picked. I didn't.
Hey,
week.
First of all,
you have one of these golden upsets, and then you shit the bed.
I ruined nothing. The Bengals beat the absolute dog shit out of the Ravens, okay? I don't want to hear about injuries and injured reserve. All those players being healthy don't score 30 more points for Baltimore, and that's what they needed. Also, I think we put to bed the argument of who is better right now, Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
I think we know who dropped 37 on Baltimore and who dropped 6 or 3 or whatever it was.
It was 3.
It was 3. There you go. So I think we settled that one. So with that being said, moving into the next part of our show here, we do have, it's a little strange, we do have a segment that we do every week. And Mr. Huber, why don't you introduce this week's segment for us?
Well, hello, boys and girls. I'm Hubie, and I am proud to introduce this week's segment of You Heard It From Hubie, where you get to check out the good, the bad, and the ugly, and a really interesting review of some form of alcohol.
Nothing like introducing yourself, my friend.
We're lucky to have Paul with us this week to fill in for some of our absentees. So without further ado, here's the next episode of You Heard It From Hubie.
This poorly produced video has been brought to you by the Outlaw Jerky Company. Get some.
Hello there, sports fans. I am your boy Hubie, and welcome back for another week of You Heard It From Hubie here in the Rock and Roll Wood Shop. And listen, thank you so much for watching us every week on 4 Laps Down Nation and 4 Laps Down. This is one of the best football shows that you can watch ever. As you know, every week I do a review of either a bourbon, a whiskey, a seltzer, a beer, or drink of my choice. Well, I've not done a bourbon review. So this week we're going to do Stellum. It is a blend that was distilled in Kentucky, in Tennessee, and Indiana. So as you can see, this is a brand new bottle. I've just undone the foil on it. Let's give it a try. Let's see what it's like. And yes, I do drink mine on the rocks. So let's see what this looks like. I wore my best clock this week just for you guys. Oh, this is very nice. This is a very even. I get hints of caramel, a little bit of vanilla, but there's a little bit of spice. And if I did not say this, this is actually 115 proof. So this is a high proof, but still very, very smooth. It has some nice notes. It's not bitter. Like I said, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel. Not really like woodsy, like Woodford or Woodford Double O. This is completely different. Okay, first time trying this bourbon. I'm going to give it an 8, which is my highest score I've given this season so far. I like it a lot. All right, moving on. Week 7 in the NFL. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, Joe Burrow. Last week I said Burris. I apologize. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals rolled into Baltimore and completely owned the Ravens 41-17. Burrow threw for 416 yards and 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Cincinnati also added 111 yards on the ground. Although, on a side note, Kevin Huber had 4 punts, averaging 54 yards a punt. Lamar Jackson actually had a decent day, 257 yards passing and 88 yards on the ground in a losing effort. All right, the bad. All right, the Panthers, well, they just seem to be taking a step backwards on offense every single week. This last Sunday, they probably hit rock bottom. Sam Darnold was a dumpster fire. Got benched in the fourth quarter, and, well, that was after getting sacked 3 times and just holding the ball too long. And, well, anyway, seems like he was seeing ghosts every time he was dropping back to pass. The Giants, the New York Football Giants, win 25-3 over the Panthers. Finally, the ugly. You know, eventually I was going to get my Titans in here, but not for being good, because their opponent was simply that bad. The Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Titans 27-3, and neither team scored in the second half. Which, that's just because the Titans just went conservative. So they lose 27-3 to a Titans team that has an average defense at best and a depleted secondary. It's like a MASH unit out there. They just keep taping them up, throw them back out on the field. And overall, the Titans D showed up. They played a good team defense. The secondary played admirably. And so it was, you know, that's all that we can say. All right, guys, and that's it for this week's edition of You Heard It From Hubie, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's turn it back over to our esteemed panelists. Take it away, Nathan.
Hubie, as always, thank you for some great content there. I really enjoy these segments every week because it's very different. You don't see anybody on ESPN drinking bourbon and then kind of breaking down their favorite moments of the week. So Hubie, thanks again. And glad that you're here so that we can tell you that straight to your face.
Thank
Absolutely.
you very much.
And I like
QB,
the-
I like
Go ahead, Jordan.
I like what you said about Tennessee and how they were in the ugly segment, but not because they were ugly, but because they made the Chiefs look ugly. And I think everyone last week kind of said it. You know, the Titans defense is not respectable, really. Like they haven't looked good defensively this year.
Their secondary is like gives up the third most fantasy points to wide receivers
But
in the NFL.
What it shows to me is the book is out on how you beat the Chiefs. You play, you basically take away deep and say, you know what? Go on a 7.5, 9-minute drive down the field of quick passing and running the ball. And either you're going to make a mistake, or you're going to get greedy and you're going to try and hit Tyreek Hill on some deep route or something. And we're going to jump it because we have 5 guys waiting back there for it. And that's exactly what's happened all year. And whenever you've got bad defenses shutting you down, that's not very good. That's not a good look for the Chiefs. Not to mention, Mahomes took a knee to the dome late in the game, and he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. He was bad.
Here's the thing, and I kind of alluded to it. This secondary for the Titans is decimated right now. It's literally a mash unit, like I said. Let's rub some dirt on it, tape it up, send them back out on the field. And they played admirably against not the Chiefs that we're used to seeing. And there's obviously a lot of work that Andy Reid and his coordinators need to work on, a lot of work to do to get that team where they need to be. I've never seen an Andy Reid team play this poorly.
Maybe in Philly, but I don't remember Philly as well as Kansas City. But I mean,
I don't remember Philly's
right
defense ever being that bad.
No.
Yeah, I think Andy Reid has always been able to put together a better club than this. But it's one of those things where every dog has their day. Andy Reid's been one of the most consistent head coaches in football. For
he's
his
Hall of Fame.
entirety. Yeah, I mean, no question. So, look, real quick. Before we jump into this next week's games, I just want to remind everyone that the Bengals beat the hell out of the Ravens. All right, next week, or this coming week,
and the Raiders beat the hell out of it.
And also, I want to throw this in before we get into it because I don't want to wait until we pick the Colts game. I just got to say, you know who has the least amount of interceptions this year for any quarterback, period, of anybody?
What?
It's Carson freaking Wentz. Carson Wentz only has one
I got
pick.
hold on. I got a stat for you we're going to come back with. Come on, let's go, Nathan. Let's get into it. We'll bring that up later.
All right. So this coming week, obviously Thursday night has already happened. What a game last night. The Packers and the Cardinals.
Shocker.
I wasn't that shocked, but it was a great game. I really enjoyed watching it.
An outright win,
and I got
your 3 best receivers. That was.
I get it.
It exposed the Cardinals' defense.
It exposed the Cardinals' defense, and I'm also really sick and tired of people saying that interception was AJ Green's fault, that he just gave up on the ball. The coach said that that Kyler went to throw back shoulder, and AJ Green didn't know it was coming back shoulder. It's on coaching, it's on play calling, that's on everybody but AJ Green. I promise you, lazy is not something AJ Green is, so he didn't give up on that ball.
That's true.
But that being said, Green Bay was victorious.
Just so that made sure that under hit.
Right, exactly.
Dang!
Under and Green Bay outright. Two big bangers for your parlays this week. So first game I
do have leg number 1 of the 5-team parlay.
I already sent you our parlay this week. It's so money. Speaking of it's so money, Chris Land, where can our fans at home learn how to win money gambling on football?
Well, you can join me at 11:45 this Sunday. I will be on Facebook, obviously, on the 4 Laps Down Nation, and we will. I will go through my daily fantasy and year-long fantasy tips, roster moves, start sets, all that. But I'm probably going to give away some more free money on Super Draft because I continue to win money on this Super Draft. And I share it with all the guys here in the group every week. I don't talk like I came in 12th out of 2,050 on that was Sunday night. And but I continue to hit those, and that bankroll is just swelling. I had a rough weekend on some FanDuel, but I gotta, you know, well, I went with Patrick Mahomes when he had the worst day of his career, and that basically ruined my FanDuel lineup. So that's really what happens, and that's not going to happen very often when you pay up for Patrick Mahomes. You're usually going to get your money's worth. So hey, you got to take those every now and then, but Joe Burrow might be in your lineup this week.
Damn well should be against the Jets. Listen, we're going to start this week's picks, and obviously Hubie's not in the year-long standings, but Hubie gets to pick as long as he's sitting here. So Hubie, we're going to start with you. The first game of the week, we've got Buffalo at home hosting the Miami Dolphins. A lot of speculation about, where will Tua end up? Is Tua going to stay in Miami? Do they get Deshaun Watson? Miami's the only place Deshaun wants to play. A lot of rumors circulating, a lot of talk, a lot of scuttlebutt on the newswire. But talk to us about, and we'll come back to Hubie in just a second, but talk to us about this game, Jordan, Buffalo against Miami, 11.5 points favorites. Oh, Hubie's ready. We'll let him go.
Good. All right. So first of all, I think that we all know how we're all going to pick this game. The question is, how much are they going to win by? Bills Mafia is going to be present in big numbers. Buffalo's one of the places where you don't see visiting teams come in and take over the stadium. What a great fan base. This is a team. 2 weeks ago, you guys thought I was going to call this for the good, the bad, and the ugly when the Titans beat the Bills. Didn't go there. But I tell you what, it's not are they going to win, it's by how much are they going to win. Are they going to win by 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns? This is going to be a decimation.
Yeah, you can't really put it any better. I don't know how you do. I think that 11-point spread is given a little bit too much credit to a Miami defense that, once again, it's tradition at this point. Defenses that were good last season are not good this season. Miami's defense has not been good this season. And Buffalo's offense, Shaka, is really good this season. And they've shown that week in and week out, minus the week one kind of hiccup against Pittsburgh. So it's Buffalo. I think they cover the 11. I kind of thought that was going to be higher. I thought it would be like a 16 to make it a little bit more untouchable. The question is, I guess it's a division game. Maybe that does something for how much Buffalo wins by, but it's easily Buffalo.
Chris, what do you think?
It's Buffalo all the way. I think the reason why they didn't put that line up as much as that is Miami has actually been scoring some points. So it's hard to say that you're going to have to score 42 to cover a number. So, and Miami's been scoring a little bit. So I think that's where that comes from. So anyway, but let's just keep it simple and go with Buffalo.
Fair enough. So I'm going to tell everyone what Josh and Shit picked for these games, but I'm going to use Josh's pick slot on the screen for Hubie's picks, just so you guys know, at home know. But it's not easy for me to change where it says Josh. That's a whole thing. So Chris Ferguson, let me know how the audio is. He asked me to turn Hubie up a little bit, so tried to remix it a little bit.
Okay, I'll speak up a little bit.
Well, no, it wasn't you. It was I had turned you down. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Buffalo. I don't see anybody with half a brain picking anyone different besides this. Both Ship and Josh picked Buffalo, as well. So listen, it's really simple, right? It's really simple. It's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. I think Chris Allen's on his way to an MVP. I think Buffalo is going to be in the Super Bowl. This is just going to be a stepping stone on the way there. So we're Buffalo across the board. Anything we didn't touch on before we jump to the next game?
The side question is the line. Like, it's not even a question. Like, the line probably is less, but I think Buffalo wins this game even if Miami had a Deshaun Watson, just because Buffalo's really good. Like, let's not say that it's just Buffalo beating up on a bad Miami team. This is like Buffalo's really good. Like, they're very good, and their defense is also very good, which I think will show this week, maybe more than the offense. But
yeah, I agree with that. I think Buffalo is probably going to be the team to beat in the AFC when it comes down to it. I will be super happy and excited and satisfied if the Bengals get to the AFC Championship game against Buffalo. Would not expect them to win that game. Obviously, I'll want them to. I'll be disappointed, but at this point, it's getting more and more unlikely that I'm going to have any negative feelings toward this season as a Bengals fan. Certainly running into Buffalo in the AFC title game and losing would still constitute a great game.
Yep.
Chris Ferguson says he doesn't love the Bills' run game. I get it. I do. It's been a while since they've had, a strong number one, like when Shady McCoy was on his game and in Buffalo running all over people. It's been a while, but they're so solid in so many other aspects that I think it definitely offsets for that. But Chris Ferguson, I do agree with you.
They've got the guys to supplement that too. Like, though it's not like they are strictly the Chiefs' vertical passing offense. Like Cole Beasley eats underneath, on those
Oh my
shoulder
gosh,
routes.
absolutely. I
Absolutely.
love that
Cowboys
guy.
miss him. Cowboys miss him.
Yeah, they do. All right, so next game on the docket. This is an interesting one. I'm not going to say it's a good one, but certainly a lot closer. It's only a 3-point spread. We've got Atlanta hosting Carolina. After what we saw from Carolina last week, Chris Land, is there anything that Carolina is going to be able to do to win this game despite such a close spread?
They're just going to have to hope that Matt Ryan has a bad day, in my opinion. I think the Falcons are kind of finding their feet offensively. They figured out to get Pitts going. He's been rolling lately. Russell Gage is back, so now maybe Mike Davis can find a little bit of room because he's just killing one of my high-end fantasy leagues. But I'm unlike most of the weeks early on, the Falcons has burned me by going against them. I think I take them again this week, and I think the Sam Darnold thing, I keep telling you about his second and third reads being the worst. And it's proving true more and more as since they got past the cupcakes.
I brought it up last week just for you whenever you were out. I said Chris Land loves this stat, and he's the worst quarterback on second and third reads. I made sure that Chris Land's voice was heard last week. I'm using the piggyback right now. I'm piggybacking on
It's early.
that.
It's early.
It's an early usage, but sometimes you got to throw the damn challenge flag. Sometimes you got to piggyback early in the show. Sam Donald's not very good. You might have another PJ Walker signing. Love the XFL. He was elite there. NFL and XFL are very different games. So I think it's Atlanta this week. And I don't know off the top of my head. I didn't go back and watch, a million hours of footage. I think last week was the first time I've ever picked Atlanta and correctly picked Atlanta. So the hot streak continues. The Atlanta Falcons win again.
QB, what do you think?
I'm going to piggyback that piggyback. And I actually think that 3 points, I'd take the -3. This is, the question, it's pretty much what Chris said, is that which Matt Ryan is going to show up.
Yeah.
And as he goes, the team goes. We all know that. He's got enough weapons around him. I definitely going with the Falcons on this game.
Fair enough. So just to bring in our picks from our absent members, it looks like we've got from Ship, it looks like we have the Panthers. So Ship's bucking the trend a little bit. And from Josh, it looks like his picks are hard to read because I don't know what it is that he sent me, but I'm gonna try to get this a little bit better to read. Oh, that's much better to read. Okay, thank you. Let's see here. So Ship picks the Panthers. Josh picks the Falcons as well. So, I think, I think the Matt Ryan thing is the correct approach here. Obviously, how he goes, so does that offense, because they don't have a lot of elite weapons anymore. So he's got to play well. When he does, they're not a terrible offense. But their defense is ranked very highly as well this year. If Ship was here, he would tell us. But I want to say that their defense is ranked overall in the top 5. I can't see Carolina putting up many, if any, points. It would not shock me to see Atlanta throw a shutout here. I don't think Atlanta's going to drop 50, but they're going to drop more than 10. And there's no shot Carolina scores more than 10 with that offense. So
the total's 47.
Yeah, that might be one where you take the under if we're talking about gambling.
It's too good. Carolina's defense is also not bad. Carolina's defense was top 5 in a lot of categories. So this definitely feels like a hammer.
What we're saying, boys. No shootout in Atlanta.
No shootout in Atlanta.
All right,
this is perhaps the worst offense in the NFL.
All right, I like it.
All right.
Than I need.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Under. Let's get on
And I
that.
got one more
Everybody
pick in
loves
here
it.
before I got to get back to my lady.
No worries. Then let's skip one game down the line here and let's talk about the. Let's see here. Did I see that right? Hold on.
The Tennessee.
Yep, Tennessee and Indianapolis. It's in Indianapolis. Indy is -2.5 favored at home. QB, what do you think about this one, bud?
I think that Carson Wentz
Say
is
it.
actually riding the ship right now.
Oh,
Titans
come on.
have the Titans played a Chiefs team that was underwhelming, although they did beat a very good Bills team.
they beat the piss out of an underwhelming team like you're supposed to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but the Titans lost to the Jets. Come on.
I know that's why life isn't fair, because
try
how do you
not to-
lose to the Jets and beat the Bills and the Chiefs in back-to-back weeks?
It was
That's
like
why it's
last week, dude.
crazy.
I try
But-
not to
but-
be that guy. I try not to be the homer guy. But
Be a
I think
homer
that
this
the
week.
Titans are a more complete team. Even though they're beat up, the defense is playing well as an entire squad. The
Really run 'em.
defensive attack has been solid, and I like the Titans in this one.
All right, fair enough. I like that breakdown. I think
You
it's
got George.
yeah. I think it's really difficult to look at how much success Derrick Henry's had in recent years, and especially this year. I mean, he is like lapping the field in rushing statistics, and it's like not close. Okay, it's not close. Connor in Arizona is having a by all intents and purposes a great year, and he's got half the production that Derrick Henry has. I agree with Hubie that I think given a clean bill of health and a couple of years, Carson Wentz can be the guy that rights the ship in Indy. I think we've seen some progress having him. Phil Rivers was fine last year, but let's be honest.
I agree.
Let's be honest. He wasn't. You weren't going to get more than one decent year out of him, and he rode off into the sunset to his 17 children, and that's that.
That's what I was gonna say.
I think that the Titans
Praise
win this
God.
game, but I think it's close. I'm going to take Tennessee here.
I'm jumping on the Carson Wentz bandwagon a little bit. I'm going with Indy in this one because Indy just beat San Francisco, who had Jimmy G in it. Indy's not schlubs. They're not a terrible. Oh, Indy. San Francisco's not schlubs. They're not a bad team.
Right.
And then Indy, that Baltimore game really stood out to me as like, I think that they're riding the ship in Indy as a team, not just Carson Wentz is turning the team on. I think as a team, they're starting to use Jonathan Taylor almost like Derrick Henry in like a, hey, you know what? Let's just give the ball to this guy, let him figure it out for us. They're getting healthy
Keep
at wide
doing it, please.
receiver. Yeah, for real, keep doing it. But and then their defense is starting to play a little bit better than what it opened the year at. So I'm going to go with
They've won
Indy
3
in
of
this
their
one.
last 4 games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're getting hot. Tennessee is also hot. This is the week. I think I said it 2 or 3 weeks ago. This is the week where it's what is Tennessee? The Chiefs game didn't tell me anything besides Kansas City's not as good as we thought they were going to be.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think Indy's going to pull this one out at home. It's going to be a statement win, and the shit's about to get very interesting in the AFC South. Between the Colts and the Titans, and I'm excited for it. But I'm taking Indy because I just can't buy into Tennessee's defense at all.
Okay.
So both Ship and Josh take Tennessee. So Chris, that leaves you.
Okay, so this game opened at Tennessee -1.
Correct.
And that much steam to move a line 3.5 points means that there is a lot of suckers getting ready to build a new freaking casino out in the desert on this one, because they have bet the Colts into oblivion, and we all know what happens. They eat in Vegas. I'm taking Tennessee. I actually think they're gonna. I bet them before it went to that. I just rebet them actually. They're in my 5-team parlay at -1. I put it in as soon as the line came out.
What's the line? What's the line now? 2.5?
Yeah, so now they're getting 2.5, but I took them at -1.
Yeah, 3.5.
I'm just gonna tell you that. Yeah, we know that the Chiefs have problem, but they could have beat them by a lot more and took their foot off the pedal. I mean, I believe in the Titans. I know that back end of the defense is gonna cost them, but I don't think Carson Wentz is the quarterback that's going to make it be that exposed.
Look
Even
at how
though Carson
Landry is
Wentz has
playing
had
right
2
now.
touchdown passes in 4 straight games and a rushing touchdown.
And he has the least interceptions in the NFL.
Right.
And he's playing very safe football, and he kind of looks like he's back in a rhythm. He's not the
I
MVP I
get
thought he
it.
might turn
You're,
into. But
based on last year, you're never allowed to praise him. Please shush your mouth.
I said once he got back with Frank Reich, it was going to be interesting to see what
Quit.
happens and that he might play MVP
Quit.
football again. I'm on the
Hey,
record.
Nathan, what you got, buddy?
Yeah,
You're
so-
not allowed to get on that bandwagon ever.
So like
Yeah,
I said before,
sure.
like I said before, I'm on Tennessee on this, and it's pretty easy for me. So Hubie, I understand you have to head out for the evening. Why don't you give us your final thought before you do so?
All right, so this is going to be an interesting week in the NFL overall, and I think we're going to see more close games this week. You've got a couple of dogs that that are going to be kind of blowouts, but I think we're going to see a lot of close games. Although we do have less games, we've got a few teams on byes this week. I am looking forward to putting my ass on the couch Sunday and watching some good football.
Amen, brother.
All right, guys. Hey, I'm out of here. Have a good night, and hey, good one
Cheers.
for me.
Cheers,
I'll
Hubie.
check you out next
Guys.
time you go live, brother.
Adios.
Rest in power to a legend.
He's not dead. He
Wow.
just had to go be with his wife for the evening. All right. So we're gonna motor through this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more games to pick. This one is
Let's
gonna be
get moving.
pretty interesting, and I'm gonna start this one. I learned my lesson last week, so I'll just say that we've got Detroit hosting the Eagles. Now, Philly's a road favorite, -3.5 to Philly, as of this afternoon. The Lions are due. The Lions are due. The Lions are due. This is the week they're going to do it. I'm going Detroit. They're going to beat the Eagles. Motor City Dan Campbell's going to get his win. Lions, Lions, Lions. Bank it.
I want to go last on this one. I never say I want to go last, but this one, I'm so
Who
toned. I
did
kind of want to.
Chip
I want to
take?
go against the field. Yeah, who'd Chip take?
All right. So Ship took
Who'd the actual expo take?
Philly.
My man.
Ship
All
took
right, I won't
Philly,
go last.
and Josh took Detroit.
I'll go now then. I'll say I'm going with Philly because I don't think Detroit is going for it on every fourth and under 7 like they did against LA. I don't think they're going to onside kick it like they did against LA. My God, they pulled out every stop. You would have thought they were playing for if they lost that game, Dan Campbell got shot in the back of the head. They were playing it was possession. It was crazy. It felt like a huge game. And I saw Detroit play a game where it was like they were fighting tooth and nail to try and win against the Vikings. They almost pulled it off, and then they fooled everybody. And everyone said, I think they might upset the Bengals. It's going to be a close game. And then the Bengals wiped the flow with them. Granted, that's the Bengals versus the Eagles. I think the Eagles are good enough. They're gonna win this game because Detroit, I think, laid it all on the table last week. Here's what we are, and they couldn't get it done against LA. I think they wanted that game to be the one that they won. And I think this is a big emotional letdown week for Detroit. So give me Philadelphia.
Interesting take. Chris, what do you got?
I just feel like I don't really think that Philadelphia is all that great. I'm going to take them. I would not lay the 3.5 on the road by no stretch of the imagination, but I think kind of what I think is the scramble and rollout is kind of going to be the kind of plays that the Lions are going to give up when Hurts gets out of the pocket. And that's kind of what the Eagles are best at. So I feel like it's just a bad matchup of two mediocre to bad teams. And I'm going to take the Eagles.
Interesting. So just so we're clear, you guys yelled at me, you demanded that I answer for taking the Eagles last week, and you guys are going to take the Eagles, and it's an easy pick.
Against a Vegas team with a close loss, a win against Buffalo. They've looked good. The offenses look good in every game except for the Chicago game.
God,
we're talking about Vegas versus an 0-7 Detroit team. 0-7, Nathan.
I mean, they just laid an egg against that Chicago team. It just disgusts me.
Well, it was the John Gruden game. That was all that was talked about all week. Don't tell me you'll play on that locker room and you didn't hear that your coach might be a violent racist or something. Like, we won't get into it, but like players hear that stuff. I think there was a little bit of distraction going into that, and it let Justin Fields actually look like an NFL quarterback, even though God damn it, he's not.
You know what? I love it that you're making an excuse for my favorite team instead of me. So God love you. Give it up.
That's
my dog. You know what? I'm like,
old heads.
You like that?
They don't believe in trap games. They don't believe in distractions. Some old people don't think that weather can affect football games. Don't tell me that shit doesn't matter. Like outside circumstances affect Sundays, man.
Maybe my Raiders are just going to be gangsters all year and just run through it.
Maybe. I mean, look.
I doubt it. They got a tough stretch coming up.
No shit. I already looked at it.
All right, who's next?
Speaking of bad football, we've got the Houston Texans hosting the 16-point road-favored Los Angeles Rams. I think this one's pretty easy, right?
Let's just say it and move to the next game, please.
Not much to talk about. The Rams are good. They're gonna wipe the floor. They're
cover 16, but they're gonna win.
Yeah, they're gonna
cover 16.
I think they'd have to cover 16. But believe that Tyrod Taylor is back. So I don't know about that 16 points, but we'll see. I mean, it's gonna matter very little in the grand scheme of things, but at the end of the day,
I do want to say, just to throw on that, Houston they didn't just happen tonight. They traded Mark Ingram back to the Saints. So the Saints have that old school 1-2 punch that they had in 2017 when they did something in the playoffs. They let something happen against the Vikings. I can't remember exactly what happened, but
hey, that guy is a great play. That guy's a great play.
Yeah. So we're LA across the board. Moving on to the next game. This is just as intriguing, but we're going to talk about it because it's my show and I said so. The Jets are hosting the Bengals. Now, coming off such a big win that's the biggest win of Joe Burrow's NFL career at this point.
Absolutely.
Outside of maybe the first one, because you'll never forget your first, even if she's Asian. And I'll tell you that. Why does Jordan look at me with disgust?
What the fuck was that?
way to ruin the humor by pointing it out and derailing the show.
Did you get that from a John Gruden email?
Oh,
No.
Lord. Here we go. So,
anyway.
400.
Go ahead.
No, just go ahead. I just wanted to get you back on track, young man.
It's
your team. This is your time to shine. We are not going to take it from you.
The Bengals are playing the Jets. Zach Wilson's terrible. The Jets are terrible. The city of New York is terrible. The state of New Jersey is terrible. The Bengals are going to go on the road, and they're going to more than cover 10.5. Give me Cincinnati big.
We don't even get the quarterback matchup of Joe Burrow versus Zach Wilson, which were my two quarterbacks in college the last 2 years. Whenever they were drafted, I was all over Joe Burrow a week into the season. He's the guy. He's going to be so good. Goes number one. Zach Wilson, I watch him play on a Friday night, and my brother told me I was stupid for saying, I want the Vikings to take that guy. Sure enough, we have him on Load the Box last year, and he goes 2 to the Jets. I got a gift for picking him, I think, but Wilson's out. The Jets wouldn't have a chance with him or without him. The Bengals are rolling. How long do they hold on to that 1 seed? That's the question. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to play some good teams, but man, I'm excited to see them lose in the playoffs. I really am.
It's ridiculous to say 8 games into the season or 8 weeks into the season that the Bengals are actively fighting for a playoff bye. Insane. Would have never expected it. But
and after the bye, home games.
Yep. They are the number 1 seed, and if they would have lost last week, they would have been the 7th seed.
I'll go. I'll be there.
I'll be there. Listen,
NFL playoffs, I'm going.
I was at the last Bengals one, and at Bengals home playoff games, I drink Fireball and direct traffic on Pete Rose's way after the game and almost get arrested.
And Vontez Bofik gets assault penalties for giving Antonio Brown CTE.
Well, look, I'm just saying Antonio Brown ain't been right since. That's all I'm saying.
He hasn't.
That's all I'm saying.
So we are okay.
So
Steelers Browns.
Hold on. So we're Cincy across the board here. I gotta get the picks up on the screen so that the folks playing at home know who picked who. So we're Bengals across the board. It's pretty easy. Next game, definitely a good game. I'm interesting. You're gonna be interested to watch this. We've got Cleveland at home hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. Baker is day to day, but it looks as if Baker's going to be playing. I imagine he will be. I don't see how you could keep him out for this game. Chris Land, what do you think here?
I can make a case for either team, but I think with Chubb coming back and Jedrick Wills coming back last week, that offensive line is getting ready to get right in Cleveland, and I don't believe that much in the Steelers' offense. So I'm going with the Browns.
Interesting. Jordan?
I who did Chip take again?
Nope. Make your pick.
Oh my God, this is bullcrap. I'm gonna go with Cleveland just because I don't like this game. It has like this weird feeling to me of like, do I really think the Browns are gonna sweep Pittsburgh this year? I'm gonna say they do. Hang on, have they played already? Did they play already?
They have not
once?
played.
They haven't played.
No,
Okay,
the
then I'm
Browns.
thinking of the Bengals.
So Ship's not here, so I'm going to give you a stat. The Browns
There you go.
have won 3 straight games, including playoffs, against the Steelers for the first time since 1986 through 1989. It is.
Well, I'm gonna go with Cleveland then.
This is not something that this is uncharted waters for Cleveland. Now, part of it is obviously the Steelers have not been the Steelers that we're traditionally used to seeing. But here's the bigger overall picture. The Steelers are on the decline. The Steelers are a year away from entering a substantial rebuilding phase. They are still falling, I believe, and I think the last thing to happen is Roethlisberger will retire and Mike Tomlin will move on elsewhere. It's interesting because someone on Twitter linked him to the USC vacancy, obviously University of Southern Cal, and his response was, and I'll paraphrase, "Bro, why would I want to go and coach college football and be a clown that coaches college football when I can coach in the NFL and make more money and be way more awesome about it?" Basically, he took a shit on people. He took a shit on people for coaching college football and basically insinuated, well, they do that because they can't coach in the NFL. Not sure if he's right. Not sure if he's wrong. That's just what he said. So
direct quote from it was, "There ain't a booster with a big enough checkbook."
Correct.
To get me to leave. Like, I mean, I'd tattoo that on every Pittsburgh Steelers fan's arms because that's an elite quote.
They don't like him, though. The fans want him gone.
I think Ryan Bushmeyer wants him gone, and then fans with half a brain cell
there's
say,
not a Steelers fan on the planet.
Him.
There's not a Steelers fan on the planet that can get a word in over that man. He speaks for them all, whether they want to or not. So, Ryan, if you're watching, we love you. We love you.
I love you, dude. And I will just say this about Ryan: he's much easier to text.
Hey, that's true. I've known him for almost 20 years now, and I will say that that's true. Chris Ferguson says never say never, but never. Listen, everybody is going Browns this week, except for me. I'm not going Browns, and I'm going to tell you why. I think that the Browns are still banged up. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. I think that on paper coming into this year, they could have been, should have been, haven't been. Doesn't matter. Last year doesn't mean shit to me. Pittsburgh's not been good, but Pittsburgh's also not the Jets. Okay. Pittsburgh beat the hell out of the Bills week 1. I know it's week 1. I don't come at me with that. I know it's week 1, but the fact is they still beat the Bills. Okay. They still beat the best team in the AFC.
That's like me living on the Raiders being the team that beat the Chiefs all year last year.
Correct. Yeah, last year I don't care.
Me forever about that.
I don't care about that. That being said, I'm gonna take the Steelers here because I think that the Steelers need a win, and I think that I forget exactly who's all out on both sides, but the injuries list are quite long. Baker's not going to be 100%. Even if he plays, not going to be 100%. And a less than 100% Baker.
I wish they'd play Case Keenum.
They're not going to, though. I mean, they're going to rush him back. A less than 100% Baker Mayfield is not a great NFL quarterback. So
that's what concerns me is that Baker is going to, he's playing. I think he's playing. He's hell bent on playing because I think he hears the footsteps of Case Keenum coming up, and every game Case Keenum looks just as competent as Baker. That's another $10 million leaving Baker's hypothetical bank account for this extension that they're allegedly working on. So I'm taking Cleveland, but like, man, is it like that Baker injury scares me because he looks bad. He looks bad.
I do think that it is going to be. I think the Browns, since their offensive line has got a hell of it, I think they're just going to try to grind them. I think they're just going to try to drag them.
I don't think they have much choice. They don't have another choice.
Yeah, because we were talking earlier off that I think Odell is done. So I think that the
Trash.
passing game
Trash.
and no Peoples Jones. So I think the passing games for the Browns is inside 12 yards. And I think Case Keenum makes that decision and delivers the ball on time more often than Baker Mayfield. So, and then that just makes the running game that more effective.
I think we're confident in what we're going to see out of Cleveland. The question is Big Ben going to have one of these weeks where he looks like a competent, not good. He's never going to look elite again, I don't think. But does he look even competent against the Browns? Because if he's competent, this is going to be a damn good game. If Big Ben comes out and he looks washed like he has most weeks this season, it's not. I think the Browns can run them into the ground. The question is, can Big Ben hit 2 passes of 20 plus yards to Chase Claypool or whoever else? I don't know. It's a tough one to pick, but man, I don't know. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's going to be a good game.
We're going to talk about this next week when I got this game right and everybody else got it wrong. So next up on the docket, we've got Chicago and San Francisco. An interesting game. I believe that Trey Lance is still out. Can anyone confirm?
I believe so. Yes.
So with Trey Lance out, I have a really hard time seeing any great football come out of this game. I think these are both pedestrian offenses with Jimmy G and Justin Fields. Everybody that's watched the show or knows me in real life knows that I am super out on Justin Fields as a long-term NFL viable quarterback. He's probably the most athletic quarterback in the league, including Lamar Jackson. But the fact is that his arm is good, not great. His decision making is.
Are you drinking?
What?
Nothing. Go ahead.
His arm is good, not great. His decision making is the bane of his existence and the cause of all his problems. Here's a guy in Justin Fields that when he was in college used his elite athletic ability to get himself out of situations that he got himself into. The NFL doesn't work that way because the average speed of the linebackers are maybe 4.6 and a half, 4.7,
Faster.
Much faster than college.
He's not playing Indiana's defense. He
threw 3 picks to Indiana's defense last year. By the way,
and they still won the game because his athleticism. I think that's the game that you point to of like he's not a good decision
That's a big one, yeah, for sure. But that being said, the chat disagrees with me that he's more athletic than Lamar or Kyler. I will disagree with that, but that does not make him a better quarterback, as we've seen, this year. So in this game, I've got to go. I hate to do it, but they're favored by 4 points on the road. I got to go with the Niners here. I don't know. I don't like this pick. I would not put any actual money on it. If I could pick neither team as an option, I probably would, but I'm going to go San Francisco here.
I don't know it off the top of my head. San Francisco, like Kyle Shanahan specifically with Jimmy Garoppolo, has a very good winning record. They're a good football team. And then as soon as he leaves the lineup, Kyle Shanahan's like 3-18 or something. Like he's terrible without Jimmy G. I think Jimmy G gets a lot of flack for his play on the field that I don't think is deserved, whereas him being injury prone is deserved. If he plays in this game and stays healthy, it's San Francisco easily to me. I think they cover that 4.5. It's not even a West Coast team going East Coast because they play in the Central Time Zone, so you're only losing 2 hours -3 or whatever it is. So
true.
I'm taking San Francisco. I would lay the points personally just because I don't like Chicago's offense at all. It's time for Matt Nagy to get the boot.
Yeah. So by the way, Josh picked the Niners and Ship picked the Bears.
Did he really?
Ship picked the Bears. Yeah.
Yes.
Ship is going to give us. He's trying to let us back in for entertainment purposes.
I don't feel as if that is what he's attempting to do. But sure, believe what you want.
It's like when Brock Lesnar pretends to let Roman Reigns beat him up, and you know he couldn't. But Brock Lesnar pretends that he can.
Obviously. Oh no, Roman Reigns would never beat up Brock Lesnar. Anyway,
right.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I'm taking the 49ers. And
because Ship didn't. Next.
No, well, but I watched that running game for the 49ers really, really excel this week.
So you're taking the Niners. You think they succeed on the ground and that Chicago doesn't have the front seven to stop them?
Lil Mac's not playing, I don't think.
He's not good. He's not good. John Gruden told us that.
No. Anyway, let's move on.
Next game on the docket is gonna be a decent game, I think, in that it's gonna be close. Seattle, Jacksonville. Chris, who do you have?
Man, my gut says that Jacksonville's going to win this game. My head says that Seattle should win it at home.
So what do we do about this? Because you just said two different things.
I know that's why actually it's going to be a.
Chris is the guy that the waitress gives you 10 minutes at the restaurant when she comes back and says, "Have you guys decided?" He hasn't even looked at the menu yet. That's what Chris is.
It's such bullshit.
What do you think here, Chris?
Who'd Chip take?
You have 5 seconds to pick. We default you to Seattle.
Yeah.
Who's Chip take?
He took Seattle.
I take Jacksonville.
You're a punk.
I was taking Jacksonville regardless
That's
of
cheating.
who Ship or Josh took. Just because Seattle looked so bad against the Saints and against the Steelers. Why the hell is Geno Smith a quarterback in the NFL, even a backup? I think I said it 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was last week. Geno Smith is the backup because Russell Wilson typically never gets hurt. So it's like, oh, why do we even need to worry about the backup job? Well, guess what, punk? He got hurt. And now Geno Smith is playing for a month. And you're going to lose, I think, all 4 games because Geno Smith's really bad. Teams are selling out against the run. And then Geno Smith is still finding ways to either overthrow guys or throw interceptions. The one good play they had was a DK Metcalf, like, quick slant that was still not really a well-thrown ball to DK. DK just is so fast and athletic.
He's just
he
that
took it to
guy.
the house. He's just that guy. So I'm going with Jacksonville because, like, I can't pick Seattle. I can't bring myself to.
So
for you gamblers, there's a player prop. Trevor Lawrence over 16.5 yards rushing. It's gold.
Oh yeah.
It's golden.
That's over for sure. Josh took Seattle as well, by the way. So our 2 absent guys taking Seattle. Like I said, man, as Chris Land knows, I sent him my idea. I had a 6-pick parlay that I sent over to him. And one of the things that I did to help make that a little sweeter was I took Jacksonville at plus 135 as part of that parlay. They sweetened the pot a little bit for me. And I got to be honest with you, I'm going to stick with Jacksonville, and here's why. Seattle's really bad. Geno is not good at all. They might as well let Geno Atkins play quarterback. You'd have the same effect, okay? And I think that in time, Jacksonville does have some talent, and they will find a way to slip into a couple of wins. Again, last year, the Bengals were one of the worst teams in football. They still won 4 games. It's pretty rare that you have a team that goes, obviously very rare that you have a team that goes over. It's even pretty rare that you have a team that wins, less than 2 or 3 games. So, Derek says, didn't Seattle sign Eason so he can play for Geno? I'm not sure, Derek. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game as well, just like Chris and Jordan did for kind of a similar reason, but mainly this is, again, you got to go the Lions and kind of they could catch somebody this week. Jacksonville could catch a win this week. It's just how the NFL goes. I mean, it's, Jacksonville's not going to beat a 10-win team. They're not going to be the Jets and fuck around and beat Tennessee. How the Jets did that, I don't know. They're a lot closer to where the Lions are. That being said, I do think that those guys want to win. I think Urban is a guy that in time will be able to build some respect in that clubhouse. I don't know if ownership is going to give him enough time, but these guys have to at least respect Urban for what he's done, his full body of work. I mean, all of these guys either played for him or against him in college. They know what this guy's about. At some point, Urban's going to probably get this ship moving in a positive direction. I think it starts this week. So, any other final thoughts about that game?
Keep it moving, baby.
Yep.
All right. And with that being said, we've got the Chargers and the Patriots next up on the docket. Chris Land, what do you think here? By the way, Chargers minus 4.5 at home.
I think that if you don't have the Chargers coming covering by 4.5 in this game, you're crazy.
Okay, fair.
I mean, the Patriots have been a little better late, and they put up more points, and I think that's why this line is only 4.5. If you threw out last week, I think that line's 7. So yeah, I'm all on the Chargers. And the passing game in that is going to be elite.
So you think the Chargers win this game? I'm going to agree with you. I think Justin Herbert's a good quarterback. Mac Jones is going to get there. I think Mac Jones is going to be a really, really good quarterback in the NFL for a long time. Belichick's obviously a great guy at developing the style of quarterback that Mac Jones is. He does have a similar playing style to Tom Brady. I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, obviously. Let's not get stupid here. But at the same time, you can plug either of them into a similar type of offense, and it's kind of home for them. And I think he's going to be pretty good. But coming off a bye, which I think the Chargers are coming off a bye, Herbert, obviously one of the better quarterbacks, especially of the younger class. I see no way the Patriots hold on and win this game. I just can't see it. So I've got to go. I've got to go with the Chargers as well. Jordan?
Yeah, it feels like the New England. I just don't think their defense is going to be able to hold out against Justin Showboat and the Chargers offense. And then I don't think Mac Jones can match the shootout numbers that he's going to need to make this competitive. I think the Pats kind of sold out against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago. I think every team kind of has that peak game, like especially
Chargers
like
also coming off a bye.
I said that already.
Yeah.
But it feels like every like mediocre to bad team has a game where like they go all out and it's like, okay, look at how good we could be. It's how do we create that week to week? And I don't think they're going to do it against the Chargers again, because I mean they gave it their all against the Cowboys. Didn't happen. I don't know. I got to go with the Chargers because of that offense.
So this pick ended up being unanimous. Josh and Ship both took the Chargers as well. So excuse me. I think it's going to be a good game. I actually really want to watch this game. I really want to see. I think if the Patriots and Mac Jones could find a way to pull off this upset, I think it would be a statement from Mac Jones of I'm here. I'm going to be here for a long time. And I think he puts the league on notice if he can pull the upset. But my gut tells me this isn't the week. I think the Patriots are going to finish the season better than people thought. It's going to be a mighty step up from Cam Newton. But I don't think this is the week. This next game is fairly intriguing. It's in Denver. Denver is -3.5. We've got the Washington football racisms coming to town. What do we think here, guys? Here, let me give you a freebie. Let me start by saying that Ship took the Broncos and Josh took the Broncos. So there you go.
I'm also taking the Broncos. I don't see how the Sisms ain't it, boys. They're just not. Thank God no one's giving me flack for putting New England in the Super Bowl this year, like we're giving Chris Land flack for putting Washington in.
You're giving Chris Land flack for that. I forgot about it.
God is giving Chris Land flack for that. Like, I mean, that's gonna end up keeping you out of heaven, son.
Wow. Wow.
I promise that.
No, but legitimately, I mean, Washington has just been. They are the .2. The defense hasn't been playing well. Heineken isn't that good. I know it's Heineke. I say Heineken.
I get it.
I don't think there's a single quarterback in the National Football League that you pronounce their name correctly by choice or by coincidence. Either one.
Cousins.
No, because you don't pronounce Big Dick Kirk correctly. Say it.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm going with Denver though, just because I can't pick Washington. I think this is two bad teams, and I don't think we should spend too much time on it personally, because this is not going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Chris, go ahead.
As much as I would love to jump on my Super Bowl pick in an effort to gain on some people, this isn't the one I'm jumping on. I can tell you that. Not that I think it's Denver's really that good. They got beat up in the secondary, and that was the strength of their team. So I think that now that I don't like their play calling. But I do think Cortland Sutton could have a good day.
I'm not as sold as you guys on Denver here, and I'll tell you why. Denver, I think, is bad. I think they're worse than their record would show. I think they're worse than some of the stats would show. They're a classic example of on paper they're meh, but I have seen nothing to tell me they're any better than, you know, the Steelers, the Jets, I don't know. They're better than Houston. They're better than Jacksonville. There's nothing to tell me that these guys are going to even sniff the rear ass of a winning record this year. I'm going to be honest with you about this. They play in a tough division. They've got a tough schedule this year. I can't see it. That being said,
Hey, but could they be good? Would they be good if Aaron Rodgers was their quarterback with that same?
I don't know. I don't know.
You got Javon Williams, the Javonte Williams that is coming on at running back. Jerry Jeudy.
I'll say
Cortland
this:
Sutton.
if you ask me,
sweet.
if you ask me, would they be good with like a guy like Tom Brady or a Matt Stafford who can really change listen, nobody wants to play hard for Aaron Rodgers. He's just that good.
I just know he's going to be a free agent, and
he's not going to Denver. He's going to end up in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to love watching the Bengals whip the shit out of that pussy twice.
He's staying in Green Bay. He's staying in Green Bay, guys. He's not going anywhere. They're going to mend the fence. He's retiring in Green Bay.
Going back out west.
And another one reason I don't think he would even think about going to Denver. If he's going to go to Denver, they'd have to get rid of Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is like, I don't usually bitch about other teams' coaches.
They probably wouldn't let him name his offensive coordinator.
He would need to name the head coach
they
because Vic
might
Fangio would be on the way out, and he'd bring in somebody similar to what's his name? Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, who he's the head coach, but he calls the offense. He would bring in a guy like that, who he kind of does both the OC and the head coach.
So hear me out. If you're John Elway,
everything it takes.
What prevents you from backing up the Brinks truck and say,
zero?
Aaron Rodgers, come throw the football. Peyton Manning, come call the plays.
Peyton Manning not wanting to be in the NFL anymore. Peyton Manning's like, he's doing the Manning cast. I think he's having a great time. He does his little like
not
Peyton's
working
places.
hard.
Listen,
No, he's not working hard at all.
if you try to tell me for a second that being the guy that's calling the offensive plays and Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback with all those weapons around him, if you want to try to tell me that would be hard work for Peyton Manning, he gets to do the mental side of what he did as the Colts quarterback and none of the physical effort.
Yeah, but it's
I promise you, for $20 million
weeks,
for two or 3 year contract.
Studying film, looking at defense. I don't think he wants to do that. I think ESPN had to
thing
guard
about
him into
Greg.
doing the Manning cast on ESPN too, because I don't think he even wanted to do that. But they were like, Peyton, you can do it over Zoom. You can sit in your basement. You can be in your comfy chair. You can shit on Eli the whole night. But like, want you on TV for us because our ratings are dipping. And he said, whatever, guys. And I think they had to back the Brinks truck up to even get him to do that. People want him on Monday Night Football.
John Elway does it, though. Think about it. He got a Super Bowl champion by bringing Peyton in. Now he brings in another elite quarterback with still more prime years than what Peyton Manning had when he brought him in. And he gets another. All of a sudden, all those terrible draft picks that he has made throughout the years, all is forgiven. And
until 5 years from now, when Rodgers leaves, they're bad again, and then everyone's right where they're at right now, where they say, I mean, but other than the Peyton Manning thing, what like he can't get the quarterback right, and that whole thing bubbles
here's
up
what
again,
you do. Here's what you do if you're John Elway. You tell Peyton Manning, name your price. You tell Aaron Rodgers, name your price. You draft Desmond Ridder in the 3rd round, let him sit behind Rodgers for 3 years, and you're golden for the next 10 years.
People don't like sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, buddy.
He ain't gonna be that. Could you imagine if you're Aaron Rodgers and you sign to go to Denver and not the first, but one of their like first draft picks, their 3rd pick of the draft, they take a quarterback to sit behind you, and you're just sitting there like, are you fucking kidding me?
But here's the thing.
He would
here's why.
melt.
Aaron Rodgers, I've always really liked Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. I've hated him as a person. Here's why. He plummeted in the 1st round when he on his draft day. Okay, he was expecting to go top 10. He didn't, obviously. Goes 24th. gets the privilege of learning how to play quarterback in the NFL sitting behind Brett Favre. Okay. Fast forward a couple years down the road, he's the guy. He's been the man. He has honestly, he's been everything to the Packers franchise that Brett Favre was. Okay. He's been that good. He's been that substantial. And he has the gall to act like the way that he does, which you want. But the biggest problem that any team in the NFL ever had with Brett Favre was, hey, Brett, you're not supposed to chew tobacco on the sideline. Can you do it more discreetly? You've got to worry about Aaron Rodgers acting like a fucking idiot in the media. Hold on. No, hold on.
Acting like Favre sent Wiener pictures to a sideline reporter.
Where are you going with that?
So listen,
Continue, I'm sorry.
Speaking of
Game,
pricks,
set, match.
Speaking of pricks, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers, okay? Aaron Rodgers, no, listen, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers acting the way that he does, it's toxic to a clubhouse. If he wasn't Aaron Rodgers, any other quarterback in the league just about would have gotten shown the door, okay? The NFL has already proven to us, right, wrong, or indifferent, management and ownership does not want anyone on the field that is an off the field distraction. Very, very, very few people, especially quarterbacks, can get away with the shit that he's gotten away with. And frankly, no. I'm not impressed by it. And let me finish real quick. To me, shame on him for acting the way that he's acted, because he has been the guy that's had to he has to go to junior college to earn his way in to the to Division I. He plays at Cal, tears it up, expects to go top 10. Drops to 24th, gets to play behind Brett Favre, has to wait his turn, make his moves, and eventually he gets the job, and all is right with the world. How dare him act like a little bitch when something doesn't go his way, now that he's banging ugly actresses and he's worth $578 million. How dare him?
All of the hot takes that we could have went with tonight, we just went on the Aaron Rodgers not going to the Denver Broncos one.
Let me just
awesome.
say to counterpoint, because they were different, but were they really? I don't like Aaron Rodgers. He's the Green Bay Packers quarterback. It is what it is. And this is why I hate Nathan, because he makes me, defend Aaron Rodgers in these situations. But how the fuck is Aaron Rodgers doing anything different than Tom Brady running up to Robert Kraft's hand job Paolo and saying, excuse me, Mr. Bob, will you please trade Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm 38 years old, and I think I'm going to play for 10 more years, which granted, he's going to, but don't tell me that whenever you draft Aaron Rodgers' replacement, he's 37 years old and you draft a guy, quarterback. I know he has the rings. I know he has the championship rings. He has the, by the way, since you have two cameras and like you're doing like that to your main one, to me, it looks like you're going like this to the screen. So I was like, why are you John Cena-ing me?
Anyway.
But no, I mean, it's the same thing of like, I don't understand drafting a guy as replacement. I get it. You want to be a step ahead. But when you've got Aaron Rodgers, when you've got Tom Brady, fucking let him ride it out.
No, let me tell you why that's the dumbest thing you could have said. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl at 43 years old. At 44, he is the best quarterback in the National Football League, playing circles around Aaron Rodgers, who's 37 years old.
Not for the New England Patriots.
Doesn't
not for the team that he asked to be, that he left because he hated Bill Belichick, because Belichick wanted to replace him with the pound style banging Jimmy goddamn Garoppolo.
Hold on. We're not talking about two players on the same level, okay? We're talking about the GOAT. We're talking about the GOAT and Whittle baby Aaron Rodgers, who no one is impressed by the way that he acts, especially Vikings fans. Shame on you for turning your back on the fan base. This is the bottom line. When Aaron Rodgers is 44, he's going to be taking Viagra just to have a good night with his lady friend, not winning the fucking NFL MVP. That's what Tom Brady is doing. How dare you compare the two of them?
I'm just saying, we're talking about we're talking about franchise quarterbacks being unhappy their replacement was brought in and basically saying, it's me or him, make a decision. And the Patriots chose Brady. It was the correct decision. And then they shouldn't have let him leave to go to Tampa Bay. They should have fucking fired Belichick and given Bruce Arians a blank check to come coach New England, because they shouldn't have let Brady get away, because Brady has shown a tremendous commitment to his body to play forever. But I don't see how I do see how it's different, because Aaron Rodgers did a lot of off the field stuff, and that's fucked up. But on the field, he's producing.
Not
He's
at Brady's level.
They're the number 1 seed. They're the number 1 seed. They are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They will probably lose to Brady in the championship game. But if they end up going to the Super Bowl,
So then
and
what
winning
the fuck's that seed matter?
The question is not where's Aaron Rodgers playing next year. The question is who is trading a 6th-round pick to acquire Jordan Love to come in and be their franchise quarterback the way that San Francisco traded, like I think it was a 3rd-round pick to get Jimmy G from New England, because Aaron Rodgers ain't going anywhere. He's wearing the yellow and green until he retires, probably in 3 seasons, probably at like 40 or 41 years old. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Listen, I wouldn't be mad at the Packers front office if they locked Aaron Rodgers up. I'm just telling you, he ain't worth the Tom Brady deal. Okay, he ain't worth it. Look at what Tom Brady's doing down there. He's making a Super Bowl team out of guys that were not successful, with the exception of Gronk, not successful by and large in previous stops. You've got Antonio Brown, who is nowhere close to the Antonio Brown of 10 years ago. Okay, prime pre-CTE Antonio Brown in Pittsburgh, phenomenal wide receiver. No shot is he that Antonio Brown today. He's tearing it up under Brady. He's playing well. He's keeping a good head on his shoulders. He's staying out of trouble off the field. This is a guy that he couldn't go a week without getting a parking ticket. He'd start jonesing for police activity, okay? He hasn't been touched in 2 years because Tom Brady has an effect on people. But let's talk about on the field. Tom Brady's 44 years old, and he's the highest ranked quarterback in the goddamn league. There's no other player that's ever played the game.
I'm not talking about a 44-year-old. I agree with you. Tom Brady's going to win the MVP this season. I don't see him. I know Josh Allen was like your early season pick, and he's going to be in the conversation.
Sam Darnold was his early season pick.
It was not.
but Brady's going to end up winning it this year, and it's amazing. And he's the GOAT, and he's undisputed. And I love Tom Brady. I have a little shrine built in my closet that I hide away to Tom Brady. But like, and this is where Chris Landon enters the chat. You got to remember, Tampa Bay was like, they were consistently around 500 before Brady got there. And they had Jameis 30 interceptions, Winston slinging, literally the season ended.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin were still putting up.
Exactly. They were putting up, but it hurts
it
hurts the defense a lot when your quarterback is giving teams the ball in plus territory because, 30 interceptions. That's an outstanding number. I mean, it's going to live on in infamy. But my thing is, we're talking about 2 late 30s quarterbacks who are considered some of the best in the game at the time, maybe of all time, saying, you drafted my replacement. Do you think I don't have it in the tank? What's going on? Getting upset about it, and then talking to, the owners. He doesn't have an own. Rodgers doesn't have an owner he can go to. There is no owner of the Green Bay Packers. You can go on line and buy a
there
share
is
of
to
the
an
Green Bay
owner.
Packers.
There's 300,000 of them.
Exactly. So that maybe that's what he did. He went to the 300,000 owners and said, I'm going to go to Hawaii and party while you guys are doing training camp because I'm unhappy that Jordan Love is here.
Yeah.
And clearly you guys, that's the succession plan. So
thank you for segueing.
But that has nothing to do with 45-year-old Tom Brady being the best player in the NFL.
Thank you for thank you for segueing me into my final point on this matter before we move on. If Aaron Rodgers played for a team that was not collectively shared an ownership by 300,000 fans, and there was one person ready to pull the trigger on something, he would not have gotten away with that shit. The reason that Tom Brady did is simply and only because he is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is not. That is it.
I disagree. I think Rodgers would have
That's fine. You can be wrong all you want.
Look, back-to-back NFC championship games. We're consistently winning. We're right there. I don't like that Jordan Love's here. I want you to do something about it. It's exactly what Brady did. Now, granted, there's about 7 Super Bowl rings separating Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I get Brady should have a little bit more pull. But, I mean, also look at Brady went down to Tampa Bay and said, I would like a Rob Gronkowski. I would also like a left tackle, and I would like Antonio Brown. And the Bucs said, "Okay, Mr. Brady, whatever you want." Mm-hmm. And he won a Super Bowl with him.
And Joe Burrow said, "Don't you dare draft Penei Sewell. Draft Jamar Chase." Sometimes it makes sense to listen to your quarterback. When your quarterback is telling you, make our team less secure in the event that I get injured simply because I don't like to hear the footsteps, that's a bitch ass move, and he's not good enough to get away with it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure fucking Aaron Rodgers would have loved to talk to his GM and say, he probably did. He probably said, "Hey, I really like this wide receiver. We should take him." And then they traded up to take Jordan Love. at a Utah State. Who
They
I
didn't
love,
know.
by the way. I love.
They didn't
Sheldon
know
Love.
if Rod.
But they move up to get him, and then they take a fucking running back in the second. You know what would have been really nice to have last night? I know he looked. They had a good game. They won the game last night. Would have been really nice if they had another wide receiver on the depth chart that maybe could have been there instead of fucking Kroger
instead of a backup quarterback. I'm sure it's exactly what they were looking for when Rodgers was on the turf with his helmet half pulled the fuck off. Anyway, Chris Land, who are you taking this game? Denver and Washington.
Oh, I'm gonna take Denver just because there's no good reason to take Washington.
So, by the way, last night, every time they said A.J. Dillon's name, Chris Land, what did I think of? You don't know.
Zero.
I know.
Yes, you do. James J. Dillon.
Yeah. Is that you, J.J. Dillon?
he was looking for the horseman.
I'm looking for a horseman goes by the name of Ric Flair. You tell him Big Dust called. You tell him it's
Is that
Big...
why Chris Land asked you to do the whole show in that voice
It's
tonight?
Big Dust, the American dream?
Yes.
Anyway, sheesh. I'm going to take Denver as well because Denver makes the most sense here. I think that if Fitzpatrick was back for this game, I changed my pick. He's not, doesn't matter. So I'm going Denver here. So we're Denver across the board for that game. We got 3 games left. Speaking of Tom Brady, we got the Saints and the Bucks. Oh, Tampa Bay is minus 4.5 on the road. What do we think here, gentlemen?
Tampa Bay. I don't like the Bucks. The Saints struggled with Jameis last week against Seattle. We all have spent almost every week shitting on Seattle's defense. Jameis Winston ain't it. He's just not. He doesn't
elite.
make good decisions. He is elite. He
And
threw
a
30
nice
touchdowns. He threw 30 touchdowns and then silently Chris Land wimpos and 30 interceptions. Because
he's aren't horrible this year.
They're not horrible this year, but I think that he's being told, fucking rein it in, pal. Like, you better not lose us games. And unfortunately, Jameis, he's a gunslinger. Live by it, die by it. And I don't think they live by it this week. I think it's Tampa Bay.
Sean Payton's used to having exceptionally accurate quarterback play, and he does not get that from Jameis. But to Jameis's credit, he has scaled it in. He's making better passes. I think that the Saints could have something here for a couple of years. I don't know that he's going to be a 10-year guy taking them to the promised land, but I don't think the Saints have a strong need at quarterback like some of these teams do, so long as Jameis is there and healthy. Obviously, you've got Taysom Hill when he's healthy. I think he's still out, but Taysom Hill's a serviceable backup when you need him. Couple plays here and there. He's quick. He has the same effect Tebow had his freshman year in Florida. When he comes in the game, you're just never sure what's going to happen, and that actually is very effective from an offensive standpoint. That being said, they're playing the Buccaneers this week. They're not going to win. I could name 100 reasons why. Tom Brady's the only one I'm going to say. Tom Brady. Buccaneers win.
Doesn't help that Michael Thomas is allegedly, now it's not even that he's injured. He just doesn't want to play for the Saints because
he wants to play
unhappy.
in Green Bay. He's going to retire.
Is that a thing?
No, I'm making fun of you.
Okay.
Go, Chris. What do you got?
While I'll still tell you that Jameis Winston is elite, I'm not going to take them.
Such an idiot.
I'm not going to take them.
You're such an idiot.
I mean, come on. You don't do that.
No, why? Yeah, what? Pick a losing team? You do that a lot, actually. Here we go. Lesson time. All right, yeah, and this is another one, guys, that we're going to end up across the board on, just simply with the fact that Josh and Ship also picked the Buccaneers. So, look, I think it's good.
Jameis Winston has 13 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions this year.
No, listen. I wouldn't call those elite numbers, but I would take them over 30 and 30. Listen, when Barry Larkin joined the 30-30 club, it was a feat. It was a celebration. When Jameis did it, not the same thing, dog. Not the same thing. So, Tampa Bay across the board for that one. Sunday Night Football. Normally, this is the part where Jordan disappears for about 45 seconds, but tonight he doesn't need to. So, start us off, Jordan. You've got the Minnesota Vikings hosting the Dallas Cowboys, a very, very big development. Dak not playing for the Cowboys. I'm a big Dak guy, so I'm disappointed. But it means the Vikings are 3-point favorites at home against a very good Dallas team. Jordan, what do you think?
So is Dak officially not playing?
Officially not playing.
Well, then it is the Vikings, and it ain't close, folks. It's sorry, Daniel Ship's gonna have to eat a big old pile next week. He might quit the show, and I might move into first place and sole ownership of whatever the prize is at the end of the rainbow. It's got to be the Vikings if Dak isn't playing. The Vikings defense is good. It's playing well in spurts. It's really solidified itself from the first couple of weeks against Cincinnati and Arizona, which you would expect it to after playing Cincinnati and Arizona's offenses. And then you look at what the Vikings can do offensively. Cousins is playing his best football, I would argue, of his entire life. He's making me say, you know what? Fuck it, extend him. Make him the quarterback for the next 3 years.
Don't you lie.
Watch the tape on Load the Box Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern, but like it just tones it.
Okay.
The cap hits. The cap hit is. Hang on.
No
The cap hit.
confirmation that Dak's out.
I
Vegas
also
moved
didn't
the
have
line.
confirmation.
Hold on.
Well, that's the thing is if he's like very well, you guys figured this out. I'll go as if Dak isn't playing. I was probably going to pick the Vikings either way because fuck it, why not? But the Vikings defense playing a lot better. Minnesota's offense really in a groove. Dalvin Cook coming off the bye, going to be able to, kind of have his legs heal up a little bit. He's going to be even more potent. I think if Dak does play, this is my if he plays, I think it turns into a shootout, and I like the Vikings to be able to just get that one key stop. They haven't been able to do it yet this year. The Vikings defense is due to just have one. Like, it seems like every game we give them the ball, the other team the ball late, and we say, okay, defense, go get a stop. The defense hasn't yet. They're due to do that. Lights on, prime time. I think the Vikings are going to pull it out this week because we also have a brutal stretch. And damn it, for my sanity, I need us to go 2-2 over the next month, or else this team's they're not gonna finish well. So give me the Vikings in this one, boys.
So all right. So everything I'm reading is that they have not confirmed that Dak is out, but Vegas has moved the line, suggesting that Vegas thinks he will not play. That's where we are. In that it will be told on Saturday if he is playing or if he is out. The rumor is that he could play, but may sit as a precaution, not that he can't play. My assumption is if they set Dak, which it looks as if they will, if they set Dak, it's more just to save him for down the stretch. Because I'll be honest with you, even with Dak, this is a close game. But because Vegas thinks that he's going to set, and they know more than me, and I got to plug Jordan's pick in here, because Vegas is suggesting that Dak will not play, and Vegas knows more than me. I'm going to also assume that he's not playing at this point. And so for that reason, I'm taking Minnesota, and this is your Thoroughbred Merchant Solutions Silver Thunder lock of the week. I'm going Minnesota over Dallas. I think Minnesota is hungry. I think they are better than their record. I think they are a really good football team, and Kirk Cousins is playing really, really well. COVID vaccine be damned. That guy's slinging the rock pretty well this year. Minnesota,
it's also in Minnesota, which is one of the most underrated home field advantages.
If this is in Dallas, well, listen, they don't have a strip club in the end zone, okay, or whatever it is that John Gruden had installed. Does John Gruden get to take the strip club with him now that he's gone?
Didn't he get fired because they took? Well, no, that was Washington that had the strippos.
Yeah,
that they were taking. The
but listen, Rick Pitino's been doing that for years and nobody cared. So it is what it is.
Is that the Penn State guy?
No,
oh Lord.
Moving on. So I'm going Minnesota here. I think it's a good pick. I think it's a great pick. Unbelievable pick. Others will say it's terrible and they don't know. Minnesota. Chris, what do you got?
I was all ready to take Dallas all week, but then when no Dak, I can't see a backup quarterback beating the Vikings coming off a bye at home. And I think that this might be, as Jordan was saying, this might be the Vikings all-in game. So it could be that too, to where, they need this, they need a signature win, and, Dallas is flying high. So, but we also just, we watched Green Bay do, do without any their first three best receivers and win like that last night too. But I'm gonna go Minnesota. I keep waiting for Justin Jefferson to be 260-3, and I
That
think
ain't gonna
that could
happen,
happen.
pal.
Why not?
If he gets to 120 or 150 and 2 touchdowns, the Vikings are probably winning by 2 touchdowns, and then they're running the ball. The play calling's too conservative for him to ever sniff 253 touchdown games. It just doesn't
I don't
happen.
want to believe that.
It's not in the cards. It's not in the cards.
I don't want to believe it, but I will say Adam Thielen has been the much more consistent fantasy player because they throw 6-yard touchdown passes, not 36-yard touchdown passes.
Fair enough. So,
Also, on the note of Dallas backup quarterback not beating the Vikings, last season Dallas came in and they beat us with Andy Dalton. So just for the record, but Andy Dalton's probably better than Cooper Rush.
if you're Dallas, do you start Cooper Rush or do you let Kellen Moore strap up?
I put it in the lefty's hand. The left-handed ball spins different, so it would be tougher for the defenders to intercept.
Yeah, that sounded like that sounded like a Frank Caliendo does John Madden. Well, the left-handed ball, it spins different. And what happens?
Did you know that's actually the Patriots for years rostered left-footed punters because the ball had a different spin on it, and the Patriots led the league in like punt fumbles for years because they did it, and it was like this crazy stat. And I don't know. It's one of my favorite football stats.
That's a good one, though. I didn't know that.
It's fun. It matters. Unlike weather.
Weather has a supremely less effect than you clowns think it does. So, Chris, you taking Dallas?
No, I'm taking the Vikings.
Oh, that's what I meant. Same thing. So, Ship stands alone.
Yeah.
Stands alone, taking the Cowboys. You knew he wasn't going to take the Vikings. You knew he was not going to take the Vikings.
I know, but still.
Ship stands alone on faux games this week.
Does he?
Faux. Yeah, faux games this week.
He took Chicago. He took Carolina. He
took Dallas.
Josh and
my bad. Josh
Seattle.
also took Seattle. Yeah, my bad.
Are you writing them down? Is that how you know that?
Yeah, I've been keeping track of them the last couple of weeks.
Oh, have you? Okay, cool. Whatever.
Just
then I'll
that
just
way
stop
you don't
doing
have
it.
to send that big text.
I do anyway because the rest of our crew doesn't do it anyway. That being said, guys, we're into our. That's a Sunday night game, by the way, 8:20 NBC. Phil Hazley's in the chat, says, "What's up, guys? Phil, good to see you. Thanks for checking out the show again. Welcome back, I should say. Phil has been watching us since last year." With that being said, we're coming into our final game of the evening, so you guys know the drill. We've got Monday Night Football, Kansas City at home against the Giants. This game should be fairly easy to pick. Kansas City 10-point favorites. Tell us who's winning and why, and give us your final thought of the evening. Chris Land, start us out.
Kansas City has way too much firepower to suck this long. So I think it's just what the doctor ordered with the Giants, who still don't look like they're going to have Saquon. They got Tony out, the new splash kid that everybody was loving, and then he got in a fight, and then he rolled his ankle, and now he's just not probably going to play again. So anyway, I just don't see enough weapons there, and I think the Chiefs are going to be. I think they're going to come out pretty hard, coming off their embarrassment here lately, and the Giants are just what the doctor ordered. So give me the Chiefs.
I'm going to be nice. Josh did not include this game in his pick'em sheet. He just left it blank.
Cool, Giants.
I should give him the Giants, but because it's such a heavy favorite, and I know he would pick the Chiefs, I'm going to put him down for the Chiefs. Jordan, go ahead. Shit, pick the Chiefs as well.
I don't think anyone's going to pick the Giants, first of all. But I don't know.
Josh just did.
Right. I was going to say something about that because I looked at his pick'em sheet and I was going to be like, it's kind of funny that Josh is so confident that the Chiefs are going to win. He didn't even feel the need to highlight it on his little piece of paper.
Right.
But I'm going with the Chiefs, but I'm going to say as my final thoughts, I'll make them about the Chiefs. That they're fool's gold, guys. They're not good. It's there's a fun stat. God, I wish we had the stat, man. There's a fun stat about teams that lose the Super Bowl the following season. Especially, it's been like drastic the last 7 years. I think it is where 6 of the last 7 teams haven't made the playoffs or something. So, it's the Chiefs. The reason I say they're fool's gold, they lose badly to Buffalo. And then they get Washington, and everyone's like, oh, they're back. And then they play Tennessee, and everyone's like, well, they look good against Washington. The Chiefs are back, and then they get dog walked by the Titans. And now they're going to look good against the Giants because the Giants are bad and they're going to look really good. And then they're going to end up playing another good team down the line. And everyone's going to say like, oh, well, they looked really good the last 3 weeks. And then they're going to lose to another good team. It's probably going to be like Vegas, in my opinion. So it's got to be the Chiefs against the Giants. But I say this at least once a show, and I haven't yet tonight. It's a game where I'm picking against the Giants more than I'm picking the Chiefs because the Chiefs, they're just not good, especially without, I don't know, Mahomes might not play. So maybe this is more interesting than we're giving it credit for. But I still got to go with the Chiefs just because I can't believe in Daniel Jones and the Giants. So excited for a week of football. Check out the Load the Box Network Wednesday nights on
Stay
Facebook
on those
and YouTube.
Raiders, young man. You stay on them Raiders. You
until
believe
they
in
like
my boys more than I do.
Until they give me a reason not to, I'm gonna keep liking them. I've watched them. Maybe it's because they were on primetime twice and they played pretty well in both games. Like, yeah, I don't see why we hate the Raiders on this show, but gonna be exciting. Need the Vikings to get a big win this week, so I don't have to hang my head. I'll call off next week. I swear to God, I will. But yeah, that's my final thoughts.
There you go, man. That's fire right there.
So it was announced Mahomes is playing, so he will be back. That's, I think, why the spread is 10 points. I think this is a 3 to 4 point spread without Mahomes. But listen, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, the Giants are the Giants. I do get a little bit annoyed at the disrespect on this show from these panelists towards Daniel Jones. I mean, this man, he has a top ground speed of 24 miles an hour, okay, which is record breaking for a white quarterback, and he makes one-handed catches. Okay, I don't know what else you guys want from this guy. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's very fast. He has incredible athletic catchability. I mean, the circus catch is his MO. And if you did not see his catch last week on the kind of the trickery play, he goes up for kind of that Randy Moss one-handed catch, brings it in. It wasn't as pretty as Randy Moss used to do it. But
if you want to find it, don't look up Daniel Jones highlight though, because it will show the 85-yard run where he slipped and fell down and just.
But he was so fast. But he was so fast.
So we'll stop talking about him like he's a gazelle.
He was. I mean, he ran.
He's a gazelle. Notice the gazelle.
He ran like one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he ran.
You started talking about top ground speed, and I'm like, my God, this is Nat Geo.
He's quick. Yeah, we'll have David Attenborough. Here is a wild Daniel Jones with a top speed of 23 points. Anyway,
very nice.
So with that being said, guys, I'm going to take the Chiefs here. I want to thank our panelists that chose to attend work today. Not everybody does that apparently, but I want to thank you guys for playing along with the Halloween theme, with the awesome costumes, with the kitty cat, El Viking Lucha, whatever that is, with the Kid Rock fan. That's what I call that outfit. Chris is dressed up as a Kid Rock fan, which is funny because he is one. But
best concert I've ever been to by far.
Listen, I tell no lies, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to know who's going to win, I'll give you all 14 picks for next week. Just go back to the beginning of the show and watch, and that'll tell you. But guys, it's been a lot of fun as always. Thanks again to our sponsors, the Outlaw Jerky Company, as well as 401 Sports Studios. It's going to be a fun week of football. I'm looking forward to it. Last week there was not a lot of what we thought were going to be good games. It was still a really fun week of football to watch. Obviously, it's a great time to be a Bengals fan. So jump on that train.
And a Raiders fan.
Yeah, this week is going to be just don't pick against them, right, Chris? This week's going to be a great week if you're a Bengals fan as well. Great game against the Jets to really showcase what we can do when we've got some space in the scoreboard. And guys, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and shut this bitch down for the evening. I just want to say this before we start running the outro here. I appreciate all of you at home who tune in, everybody that comes in from all the different Facebook groups where we simulcast the show. We have so much fun doing this, and honestly, we probably would do it even if no one watched, but the fact that we do this, we have so much fun, and you guys choose. There's a lot of stupid shit that you could be watching on the internet on a Friday night at 10:28 right here on the East Coast.
But there's no more stupider than us.
No more stupider than I and we and them. But we do really appreciate you tuning in with us. We appreciate all of you jumping in the chat, giving us your inputs, giving us your hot takes. We appreciate all the different groups that have embraced us, that don't take our there's a lot of groups that we post into that their rules say don't post shit from outside pages, and we do, and they leave it up, and we appreciate you for it. So thank you so much for that. And guys, we'll be back next week. I believe it is
we'll be on Sunday morning at 11:45.
Yeah. And Chris Land, he tells you how to win money on football every Sunday morning at 11:45 right here on 4 Laps Down. With that being said, guys, happy Halloween, happy spooky season. I've been your host, Nathan. You've been a great audience. He's been Jordan. He's been Chris Land.